Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dazzling Dave, and in this video I'm going to take a look and a delve into this project Big Picture, which is being championed by the owners of Liverpool and Man United, which is, to quote a phrase, set the cat among the pigeons and could really change football in this country as we know it. So in the project Big Picture there's lots of key points in it, and I'm just going to run down the key points and then get to the main point, which I think is really, along with so many other people and from all backgrounds, and associations, fans, pundits, whatever, think this is such a terrible idea if it was to come through. There's some interesting points on there which may have some merit, but there's one big one, and that is the power grab. It seems to be a power grab by the top six, so-called top six in the Premier League. And I know that there's fans from all of those clubs. Probably some would support it because it sees their club, getting stronger, potentially. But there's lots of other fans that I've seen on social that are really dead set against it. But let's look at the key points, and then I'll delve into that big question, which is basically about how the Premier League is governed. So the key points are that the Premier League, and in this proposal, would be reduced to 18 teams. There'd be a 250 million bailout for the Football League. The League Cup and the Community Shield would be scrapped. Parachute payments would be stopped. 25% of the Premier League's annual income would then go to the EFL. The 14 club majority voting system would change. Currently it takes, on any proposal, 14 of the shareholders, which would be the 20 current, as it stands, Premier League clubs, would have to vote to pass a proposal. And that would change to the big six: United, Chelsea, City, Arsenal, Tottenham and Liverpool, plus the three longest standing members, which would currently be Southampton, Everton and also West Ham, being basically controlling all of the decisions. And it would only take 6 of those clubs to pass anything, i.e. the big 6. The other changes would be the promotion and playoffs, because there'd be 18 in the division. The bottom 2 of the Premier League would go down, the top 2 of the Championship would go up, and then the 16th place team in the Premier League would play the 3rd, 4th and 5th place team in the Championship in a playoff system, similar to what happens in the Bundesliga. And they also want to align more so with UEFA's regulations. There could be a salary cap imposed on the EFL clubs, and also the season would start later, which would leave more room for pre-season friendlies, i.e. big international tournaments and that sort of thing. So there's some interesting stuff in there. Obviously helping out the EFL clubs at the moment. It feels like that this proposal has come out with the ruse of helping out the EFL. Rick Parry is the chairman of the EFL. He's come out strongly backing it. The story and the timeline of this basically means that this has been going on for, apparently talked about for about 3 years. And Liverpool, the owners of Liverpool and Manchester United, as I say, are driving it. Rick Parry has been involved with it from the EFL. Obviously, the EFL clubs potentially could benefit from the windfall and help that. And he's come out, but he's got an agenda, a big agenda. When the Premier League was formed, he was the first CEO. And from what I understand, he was also at one point on the board of Liverpool. He's also mooted to have been said, and he's not denied this from all the press reports that I've read, that if these big 6 don't get their way, they can resign from the Premier League and join effectively the Championship. That's some of the stuff that I've been reading. Obviously helping out the lower league clubs and stuff, but let's just put it into context. For the teams like at the top, they do have a lot of matches, so getting rid of the Carabao Cup, or sometimes called the Who Cares Cup, would get rid of a load of fixtures for them. Getting rid of the Community Shield, the Charity Shield, again would get rid of some fixtures. Reducing it down to 18 would get rid of another 4 fixtures, and this would help them out, shall we say. and but it would also decrease the revenues somewhat of what the Premier League could then charge for the TV revenues, because obviously less fixtures to the broadcasters, and also match day revenues as well currently for any of the Premier League clubs, because that would be 4 fixtures that would be lost, plus the Carabao Cup also, and along with the FA Cup, realistically is only majority of the clubs in the pyramid, whether it's the Premier League or outside of that, the only chance they've got of potentially winning a trophy, especially in the top 2 divisions. The big talking point, and you know, all of these things can be debated between the Premier League clubs and the EFL clubs, can't it? All of these ideas. But the big one that is an absolute no way is giving the power to vote and to decide to the 6 so-called Big 6. Yeah, they're bringing along West Ham, Everton and Southampton for the ride for this 9, but technically you only need 6 clubs to vote for it to get it passed, so the power's with the 6, and they would be able to decide anything from the broadcast rights that would be being negotiated. They would decide whether a club could be taken over by an owner. So if they saw someone coming in with a bit of money and good credibility to take over another club, that could threaten them. They could block that. And it seems to me that it's a big power grab. In the States, I mean, both United and Liverpool owners, from what I understand, are American. In America, they don't have promotion and relegation. They know that year in, year out what division that they're going to be in and the revenues. They don't like the thought of it, but they want to keep increasing their revenues and what they bring in. And they could also decide on rule changes within the Premier League, such as like the 5 substitute rule that was voted out by the majority of the clubs. You know, the teams with the bigger squads, they want, you know, potentially 5 substitutes is good for them, because they've got basically bigger squads that they can use with people on the bench. And obviously teams with smaller squads have obviously less opportunity to make the substitutes. So, and there's all sorts of things around that. They would be able to make the decision on behalf of the rest of the Premier League clubs, whether they like it or not, and also for the rest of the pyramid. It can't be right. It cannot be allowed to happen. Currently, it's to change this rule. The one good thing, it takes currently, as I say, 14 clubs to vote it through. No doubt they'll be going to be on a PR offensive and just saying some of the good stuff that potentially is in this and trying to sell that. But you don't sell your soul, do you? You know, for whatever it is, you just do not sell. Rick Parry, as you know, I mean, the guy, I just can't believe what he's coming out and saying. He seems to have been involved in these negotiations with Manchester United owners and the Liverpool owners, and other Premier League clubs have not even had an inkling until the weekend this going on. Apparently there's a lot of fury and anger about this. As I say, it does take 14 clubs to vote for it to pass it. God forbid that happened. There is one other interesting thing that I've found out from reading today, that the FA, you know, have also come out against this, and they, when the Premier League was started, they have a golden share in the Premier League, which basically means they can veto any proposal. They have never ever used it, letting the Premier League get on to manage it and make their own decisions. But this is something that they might, if they need to, use that veto, because it should be democratic. You should, doesn't matter whether you're one of the biggest clubs in the world with huge fan bases or not, or whether you're one of the so-called smaller clubs such as your Burnleys and stuff like that. They should still have the same say, and currently, you know, they do have the same say. They can stand up, they can put their opinions across, and they can vote, and every single club has the same vote. If you're in the Premier League, you get one vote, and you vote on a subject and a decision, and it's worked. You know, we might not agree with the pay-per-view thing, that they might have got a decision wrong, but it was democratic, and they voted 19-1 for it, and hopefully they'll listen to the fans and it will change. But it was democratic, but the proposal is that, well, it doesn't matter what the 11 others think, that us elite 9 will make the decisions. And it really isn't the elite 9, because even the likes of West Ham, Southampton and Everton, who would be included in this potentially, even if they disagreed, it doesn't matter if the other 6 agree, because it gets passed through anyway. So you're basically having 6 out of the 20 that would make all the decisions. It cannot happen. It makes my blood boil that it's even been announced, and I don't normally get wound up by stuff. I don't know what you think about it. Leave your thoughts in the comment below. Make sure you put the case out there. Feel free to share this video if you want. And yeah, let's see what happens. There's a Premier League meeting coming up soon. I think this one's going to roll for a little while. Yeah, let's help out the EFL. That's good. That can be sorted out anyway, and it should be. There should be help for the smaller clubs. But let's not sell our souls doing it. It needs to stay democratic. Until the next one, I'm Dazzling Dave. Always Wolves.